There's a kind of loneliness that doesn't come from being alone, but from being surrounded by people who only know the version of you that pleases them. For years, I thought love meant being liked, that being accepted required being agreeable, that worth came from what I could give, fix, smooth over, hold together. I learned to nod when I wanted to say no, to smile when I wanted to scream, to shrink so others could shine. And they called me kind, they called me selfless, they said I had a good heart. But what no one asked was, at what cost? There's a silence that builds when you stop speaking your truth. It doesn't happen all at once. It begins with a hesitation, then a swallow, then a smile. Until one day you wake up and realize, you've been performing for so long, you no longer know where the mask ends and you begin. This video is not about rebellion, it's not about anger, it's about return. To your voice, to your boundaries, to your enoughness. Because when I stopped trying to please everyone, everything didn't fall apart, it began. And maybe, just maybe, you're ready too. It started early, before I had the words to understand it. Be a good boy, don't make her cry, don't talk back, say thank you, be polite. Each phrase sounded harmless on its own. Together they became the early lines of a script I didn't write, but felt obligated to perform. I became the pleaser, the good student, the quiet child, the supportive friend. People smiled when I entered a room. They leaned on me, trusted me, praised me for how mature I was. But inside, I was shrinking. Every time I ignored my own needs to meet someone else's, I erased a part of myself. At first it felt noble. Later it became normal. Eventually it turned into a prison. Because when your value is tied to how useful you are to others, you never get to ask what you need from yourself. Burnout doesn't always look like collapse. Sometimes it looks like competence, like being the one who always shows up, always volunteers, always handles it. No one sees the cost, because on the surface you look fine, you smile, you say, "I'm just tired," you keep going. But inside you're unraveling. For me, it wasn't a dramatic crash. It was a slow erosion, like water dripping through stone. I stopped dreaming. I stopped laughing from my belly. I stopped asking, what do I want? Because the answer scared me. I didn't know anymore. Pleasing everyone meant I became no one. And the further I went, the harder it became to remember who I was before I became what they needed. No one prepares you for the guilt. The first time you say no and don't explain. The first time you cancel a plan to rest. The first time you let a call go to voicemail and don't apologize. There's a part of you that panics. Will they think I'm selfish? Will they stop trusting me? Will they be disappointed? And maybe they will. But you know what else is true? You will be okay. Because guilt is not always a signal that you're doing something wrong. Sometimes it's just a sign you're doing something different. And in a life where you've always put others first, choosing yourself will feel like betrayal. But it's not. It's healing. It's honest. It's human. The more I chose myself, the more I saw that the people who truly loved me didn't need me to be small to stay close. When you stop pleasing people, some people leave. That's the truth no one tells you in self-help books. The moment you stop agreeing just to keep the peace, the moment you say no and mean it, the moment you stop cushioning others from the consequences of their choices, some of them will walk away. At first it feels like abandonment. It feels like punishment. It feels like proof that your silence was the glue. But it's not abandonment, it's clarity. It's the universe gently removing the characters that only fit the version of you that wasn't whole. Some relationships aren't lost in the healing. They were unsustainable all along. It just took your honesty to reveal it. You will mourn them, you will miss them, but you will not trade your truth to get them back. Because now you know, the only love worth keeping is the kind that survives your becoming. I used to want everyone to like me, even people I didn't respect, even people I barely knew. Their opinion felt like oxygen, and any hint of criticism felt like suffocation. But when you live for approval, you slowly start dying from the inside. One day I heard a quote, "If you don't heal your need to be liked, you'll end up living your life as a shape that fits everyone's hand but your own." That line hit me like truth I'd always known but never said aloud. So I started testing it, letting people misunderstand me, letting them feel uncomfortable, letting them be wrong about me without correcting them. And you know what happened? Nothing and everything. The world didn't end, but my fear of not being liked began to dissolve. And in that space, I found something far more beautiful than approval: peace. The peace of being real, even when it's messy, even when it's not applauded, even when it's misunderstood. That kind of peace is quiet, but it's unshakable. When you stop pleasing everyone, you get something unexpected: time. Time you used to spend apologizing, explaining, anticipating, fixing. You begin to notice the pauses, the quiet, the room to ask, what do I want to do with this hour, this breath, this life? I used to pack every moment with something productive, as if stillness was laziness and rest was guilt. But now I know stillness is sacred. Silence is a kind of song. Now I drink my tea without multitasking. I go on walks without checking my phone. I sit in rooms alone and feel full, not empty. Because reclaiming your life means reclaiming the parts of it that were always waiting, just beneath the noise. They told me strength was about endurance, holding it all in, never complaining, pushing through. And for years I lived like that, the strong one, the rock, the steady shoulder. But that version of strength broke me, not with one big event, but with 1,000 tiny silences. Now I believe this: strength is crying and not apologizing for it. Strength is saying, I need help. Strength is letting someone walk away and not chasing them. It's knowing your worth isn't up for debate, that your boundaries aren't cruelty, that your healing is not selfish. The old strength asked me to perform. The new strength asked me to feel. And in that feeling, I have never been more whole. This isn't a story of rebellion, it's a story of return. To the version of me before the pleasing, before the mass, before I believed that my worth had to be earned. Now, I speak slower. I choose quieter rooms. I say no, not with guilt, but with groundedness. And some people don't like this new me. That's okay. I didn't become her for them. I became her for the girl who used to cry in silence, for the boy who never felt enough, for the inner child who just wanted to be loved without conditions. Now, I don't need to be liked by everyone. I just need to be known by myself. And in that knowing, I found something that applause could never offer: peace. So if you're still pleasing, still shrinking, still afraid to disappoint, this is your sign. You are allowed to take up space, to speak the truth, to live your life, not their version of it. And if no one else tells you this today, I will. You are enough, you are worthy, you are already whole. Welcome home.